All right, everybody, welcome to the side of the homestead. Rugby Acres here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do a real quick refrigerator bread. And this you can pull off as you want it and roll your biscuits, and then you can get your biscuits done. Or you can go ahead and use the bread for, cinnamon rolls. And so this is one that came from Garen's grandmother Acres as well, and just a real quick recipe, something you can have in the refrigerator, serve rolls anytime anybody comes over. So what we started with, we have to get our yeast going. And so with our yeast, we put in 1 teaspoon of sugar and then added 2 of the quick rise yeast packets. Now if you use the 1 pound blocks, just measure that out. You're going to double that what you would for 1. Get that in there, add your 1/4 cup of warm water, and then stir to dissolve. So we've got that all started. It's already getting bubbly, and I'm going to set that to the side. So now that's set to the side, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with our recipe, and we're going to go with 2 cups of warm water. All right, so what we're going to start with is our 2 cups of warm water. We're going to throw that on in there. Okay, and then we're going to go in with our 2 tablespoons of melted shortening. I just used a vegetable shortening. Throw that on in there. She did not specify what shortening to use, so the last recipe I did, I used sheep tallow. It worked out just fine. And for you guys, I just want to make sure that I do it, the way that she says. So then, let's see. We're going to do 1/2 cup of sugar. Half a cup of sugar in there. And then we're going to, looks like we're going to stir that around. While we're doing that, I previously beat 2 eggs. Now we're going to pour those eggs in here. Stir that around. Now our yeast is ready, so we're going to put our yeast in there. I like to make sure that I get every little bit that I can in there. Makes things a little bit easier sometimes. And then we stir this on around. And now we're going to add in 4 cups of flour. You notice I'm not using a blender here. There's a reason. We're not kneading this bread. We're just thoroughly mixing it through. We're just beating this on up. Okay, there's the consistency that we have right now, so a little sticky, but that's okay. So now we've got this mixed, our base is ready to go, and now the fun begins. All right, so make sure you understand we're mixing this thoroughly. We are not kneading it. So we're coming in with 4 more cups of flour. If you find after you're mixing this and getting it going, if you find that it's still sticky, add a little bit more flour to it. Put that on in there. Now we're not kneading, we're mixing. So you don't want any palm action in there. Now this does something else too. If you're not kneading it, you're not creating gluten. Now what I'll do is I like to kind of separate to get whatever sticky is in there to pick up more of the flour. We've got everything picked up in there. That's what you're looking at. It's not pretty, but that's the way it's supposed to be. Now, here's the lovely part of it. It's done. So, you cover tightly, throw it in the refrigerator, use it as you want to use it. Me, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to roll up and start doing some rolls. I've got to get some rolls in there, and then I'll do another batch. Those will be cinnamon rolls. So the lightly greased pan, and like about a handful, and then you're just going to shape your dough however you want it. So looks like that, like a regular biscuit roll. I keep saying biscuit, but it's really a dinner roll. So get about 4 dozen of these if you shape them right. You can do them as big as you want, as small as you want. If you want more or less. There's 12 down, next pan. All right, so now I've got these taken care of. I got 2 dozen ready to go. Still have another 2 dozen that I can do. I can go ahead and put a tight seal on this, throw it in the refrigerator, use it later. I'm going to go ahead and do some cinnamon rolls with it, and so I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to leave it right here while I'm proofing these. I have an oven proof, so I'm going to throw mine in for 30 minutes, let them rise. You really just want them to get light. And not necessarily do they have to double in size. Just make sure they're light and fluffy. You'll be able to see the difference. So once you do that, then you'll go ahead and cook them. You're going to cook them at 425 degrees. And then, like I said, just watch your time on it, depending on your altitude. I've had to pull it down. We're going to go ahead and try 12 minutes this time, and I'll show you guys what it looks like on the back side when they're done and see if that's the right amount of time. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start on the cinnamon rolls. And then we'll check our stew from the previous video, see how that's going. And this is just another day in the Grumpy Acres kitchen. All right, guys, we'll check back soon. All right, so I took the refrigerator bread that I had left over, and I am going to go ahead and I am going to do the cinnamon rolls. Now, this was super cute. This is a Garen's favorite. Cinnamon rolls. And so I have everything rolled out. Your rolling pin is very important. One, you need to be able to take people out in the kitchen. So this gets everybody out of my kitchen, but it also gives me a nice wide base. I use this on my pizzas as well, so I can go through and I don't have to worry about really measurements, making sure that everything's getting square, which I'm not too worried about anyway because these are cinnamon rolls, right? So we got everything put out. Now's where it gets really fun. So it was funny because I had Garen grab me a pan, and he said, wait, this is how Grandma used to make it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm doing Grandma's recipe. So here we go. So we're going to melt a 1/4 cup of margarine, and then we're going to add some brown sugar. And she put dark Caro syrup in there. But I thought that I would go ahead and I would treat everybody. And Garen's sitting here watching this. He's watching the filming, so I think he's going to be excited. Garen's grandpa, Daryl, who was married to his grandma, Daryl had this thirst for something called sorghum. And so I was able to obtain a 1/2 gallon of sorghum. He's searching the counters right now looking for it. I was able to obtain a 1/2 gallon of sorghum. And so instead of using the dark Caro, we're going to go ahead and we're going to use the sorghum. So let me show you how to do this. Maybe G will stick around with us and then take a look at what we're doing. That'll help me out too. So hang on, guys. I'm going to grab the butter, the brown sugar, and we'll be right back. So we're going to take a 1/4 cup of butter. And we're throwing that on into a cast iron pan. You want an 8 to 9 inch cast iron. You can use any pan you want, guys. You don't have to do it our way. This is just fun and it's easy easy for camp, so kind of the way that we like to do it. Now, so we've taken our 1/4 cup of butter, and now we need a 1/3 cup of brown sugar. Okay, there's our 1/3 cup brown sugar. Throw that on in there. Now this sorghum, this is an amazing, amazing sorghum. It smells so good. This is Muddy Pond sorghum, and so I was able to get this off Amazon. Sorghum seems to be a little hard to find. This wasn't bad price, and it's lasted, you know, quite a while. We've had it in here. Now I finally have an excuse to use it. So we're going to go ahead and go in with the sorghum, and for that we're going to do 1 tablespoon. So this is what is going into the inside. This is what happens when I do a bunch of recipes at one time. I lose my stuff. Let's see, hold on just a second. All right, so I found my missing in action measuring spoons. I got everything out of the way so that I could get the dough rolled out. So we're going to do 1 tablespoon of the sorghum. Like I said, you could use dark Karo syrup if you'd like. If you cannot find your sorghum locally, then you can get it off of Amazon. And again, that's the Muddy Pond sorghum meal. And they're the ones that do that. They're really great, and it tastes yummy and delicious. Let's see, it's so thick, I'm going to need something to scrape this out. So let me put that like that and grab something real quick. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and scrape this on out of here and make sure we get every little bit of it. And I think we've got that. There we go. Move this lid over here. Throw this on the stove. Now we don't want to burn our sugar, right? So, oops, I'm still dripping. And we're just going to put that on medium simmer there. Break everything up. Mix it up. Now, you could do this in a saucepan if you wanted. I like this as a 1 dish type deal so that I'm not dirtying a bunch of dishes. It's hard enough when you're doing a bunch of recipes. So just keep it to a minimum. Plus the taste on the bottom is not bad. So that's actually going to be the top of your cinnamon rolls there. Constantly scraping the bottom of the pan. You want to make sure that your sugar is not getting burnt. You also don't want to burn that syrup, and you do not want to burn that butter. Nobody wants that in their cinnamon rolls. Look at how that's going. Just a nice creamy liquid, right? Oh, I hope everybody can see this. And it smells good. Okay, so this is what we're looking for. All right, super quick. That was only maybe, what, a couple minutes? So not bad. This is what we're looking for. Now we're going to take this over to where we rolled our cinnamon rolls. Turn that off. And I'm going to pour this.
Sun's in the way.
I'm going to pour this right on top. Let's see if I can get a balance here. And pull. Pull. Up, pull. Now when I say pull, I am actually pulling from the pile because it likes to pile up. So put this back on the stove there. And we're going to just run a nice smooth layer all the way around our dough. So just try to get it as even as you can. If one layer is gooier than the other, it doesn't really matter. Okay, I think I've got that about where I want it. Set that aside. And now we're going to roll. So I'm going to start here. Going to pinch that over like so. Go all the way. Make sure to tuck and roll. All right. So pull this over this way. Now let's see what Grandma Acre says to do next. All right. Spread in the pan and sprinkle with pecans. Let's see. Sugar is dissolved. Okay, we're going to repeat. So let's do a repeat of what we just did. Throw that on in there. Again, we're just going to go to a simmer, start mixing this around. Now this is the topping. So once you get this done, you can either go ahead and add pecans if you want, you can add walnuts if you want. I thought I had pecans in the pantry, I do not. So the closest thing to a pecan is actually a pine nut, and pine nuts I did have. So instead of going to the store and having to buy more nuts that will just sit in there for a little bit, we're going to go ahead and use the pine nuts. I'll show you guys how to mash those up here in a minute. All right, so we have this all spread around our pan. It's going to be our topping. And so then let's go see what to do with those nuts. So these are the pine nuts that I have. Let's just scooch or roll over a little bit. These are pine nuts that we have, and I'm just going to open up just a little bit right there. Now, I have to make more cinnamon rolls, right? So I know I'm going to need more. Now, if you're angry, if you just have some frustration, here's where you get to take it out. Okay, that should do it right there. Now we're going to take our pine nuts and we're just going to sprinkle them around. There's no rhyme or reason to this, so whatever you and your family like, that's how you're going to do it. Okay, I think that's good for us. Now, when it comes to your roll, go ahead and use a bread knife to come in. And you want to go, I don't know, about 1 inch. Okay. Most people would say at this point to go ahead and discard your ends. I don't discard my ends because that's the reason that I made sure that I spread that all the way out. There's no need to waste the food. Don't do it. So now we're going to make sure that we put everything with the cut side down. Now remember, these are going to spread and poof, so you want to give them some space.
Is poofing an official cooking term?
I don't know that poofing is an official cooking term, but if you cook in Yoda's kitchen, poofing is now an official cooking term. All right. All right, so we have that like that. We're going to turn that heat off. We don't need that anymore. So this is going to go like this, and now we're going to put it back in the oven. Now, go back to the refrigerator rolls. So when you go back to the refrigerator rolls, it was at 425. So you're going to go in a 425-degree oven. We're going to go ahead and cover this, and we're going to let it sit for 30 minutes so that it proofs. So as soon as this is done, then we'll get that in the oven. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and clean up so I can continue refrigerator rolls. So, okay guys, when everything's done, we'll come back and we'll show you what it all looks like. It'll be wonderful. Okay, so now we have everything proofed, and here's where we're at. So we're going to take off, and when I say light, this is what we're looking for. You're going to touch it, and it's just coming in just a little light. See how that pokes in there? And we know everything is light. So that's going to go ahead and go in. We're going to pop it in the oven on the other. Get those in there, and we're going to go ahead. Remember, we talked about elevation and all of that. So we're going to go ahead and start our timer at 10 minutes, and then we'll check it after that. Now, what we've also done, we went after those cinnamon rolls, right? So I've been letting those sit on the stove as I've had everything cooking. These are also proofing, so let's look at where those are going right now. And then after I'm done with these, then the cinnamon rolls are going to go in. So see how it does fill up the whole pan? So these will be done proofing as soon as those are done cooking. We'll get all that in, and then we'll be able to show you the finished product. Guys, it smells delicious in here. I'm just so excited. Can't wait to show you the end of it. All right, guys. So I want to tell you a little story on the backside. So it wasn't too long ago, G decided that he was going to go ahead and he was going to copy Paula Dean's recipe. And he had forgotten all about this recipe, I guess. And so he goes in and does Paula Dean's recipe. And we all know Paula Dean loves her butter and her sugar. Well, G didn't read the directions correctly, and he doubled the butter and sugar. And so we're all sitting there eating, and the kids are like, this is delicious, and they can't get enough. And G's like, oh my gosh, and he's just piling them in. And I'm thinking, this doesn't seem right. This is a lot of sugar and a lot of butter. And come to find out, he accidentally doubled the recipe. So these are going to be better than that. They're going to be lighter than that, and we're not all going to fall over from diabetes attack after the end of it. So let's figure out what's going on here. All right, so our 10-minute timer just went off, and well, I don't know, 40 seconds ago, our timer went off, and I checked these. So I remember I was talking about the elevation, so I want to keep trying to figure this one out. So at this point, I'm not happy with it, and I think I'm going to let it go. So I set that timer for about 5 more minutes. We're down to 4. So let's show you what those look like right now. We'll kind of keep that open. So see how they're just now starting to get that golden crust on there, which tells me, and if I knock on it, well, it's a little hard there. Right, so we want that to fluff up. We're going to go ahead and give that 5 more minutes. So let's see what happens, and in 3.5 minutes, I'll be right back with you, and we'll show you our finished product. All right, so now I think we're right at the right time. This was 15 minutes for 1,000 feet elevation. So we're going to pull these on out. Those are nice golden. I can live with this. I love it. So we're going to pull these on out. Yeah, I know. I'm putting them on the countertops. You guys, I don't care where we're placing those anyway. So these are coming out. We're going to let those cool a little bit. Oh, I need to get those cinnamon rolls in. You want to look at those cinnamon rolls one more time? Those are going in. Look at how nice and juicy, fluffy they are. All right, so those go in. I could do without you. Dogs should not be in the kitchen anyway. All right, so we're going to throw this one on in. All right, got that there. Set our timer, and I think we're going to do the same 15 minutes. Right, got that one going. And then let's see if I can handle any of these. See what's going to be, this one's smaller. Yeah. All right, let's go in. Woo, look at that. Look at that. Let's see, how does it taste? Can we try it? That's it. That's it. Those are great. Nailed it. I think that's it. All right, now I'm super excited. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm super excited for the cinnamon rolls. I said if I get to it, because I had the videos to make, no, I would get cinnamon rolls made and try to bring those to potluck. And I said, but no promises. I'm not sure I'm going to get them made because that's a lot of cinnamon rolls to have to make. And Charles very generously said that he would watch the cinnamon rolls and protect them until potluck. And so I laughed and I said, you may have to, because we know how Grandma Akers and Garen's mom cooked. And so, you know, we don't want that weight on us. So I will make him a particular pan of cinnamon rolls to take to camp so that he can share those with Darren and whoever's out there and do that. I'm just not promising that I'm going to do 400 cinnamon rolls. So anyway, the most important thing is to get these videos out to you guys. And my potluck commitment is done, so in all honesty. So we'll get that done, and we'll bring you back as soon as the cinnamon rolls are done, and then I think we can close out this video. All right, so now it's time. We're at that 15 minutes. Let's go ahead and kick off getting our skillet out of here. Now, guys, I'm going to do it back to the land. I think I'll talk to Daniel. I think I'm going to go ahead and do alternative cooking. This also can be done on a fire with coals, and I will try to make sure that, well, no, I won't try. I will. I'll have those measurements of how many coals you need for what temperature and get all that out and have it. Oh, my goodness. Look at how that's caramelized. Look at that sorghum in there, the brown sugar. It's caramelized. So I'm going to let this just sit for a moment, and then once I'm done, I'm going to transfer it over here. It's just going to be too hot for me to handle right now. So I'm going to let that cool down. Then we're going to transfer it over. This is going to go upside down. Remember, we've got our nuts and everything over there. And all of that's going to come back, and it's going to fall all into there. But, oh, beautiful. All right, guys. I don't know. You guys want to see the finished project once I, get it turned over? Yeah, I think you do. So we'll go ahead and do that. So one more shot, and then we'll be done. All right, so I think it only took about a minute for that boiling to come down. So now we're ready to transfer because we don't want that to stick to the bottom, right? We want that juicy ooey gooiness to come in. So what we're going to do, for me, I'm just going to use this pan right now because this is all for you guys. And we're going to come in. Yep, got it. Put it in there. I think we're good. Look at that, guys. How beautiful is that? All right, everybody, enjoy breakfast tomorrow. Hope you like it. That recipe is amazing. So it smells delicious, that sorghum. I'm really impressed. So whatever you guys do, make this recipe yours. Have fun with it. Do what you need to do. And so one of the things we did, if you remember, we took the same dough and we were able to make our dinner rolls, made it a dual purpose, did our cinnamon rolls, and there's so much more that you can do with it. G and I were talking, and we were, after tasting the bread and the things that were coming in, we remember his mom making a monkey bread, and I'm pretty sure that's the same recipe for that dough for the monkey bread. And then we were talking, he's like, well, we should do like what Mom did. And I guess there was like an alligator and duck, and she would make the monkey bread, because obviously we can make that bread dough any way we want. So just have fun with it, guys. Do what you need to do and make it yours. All right, guys, from our home to yours, my kitchen to your kitchen. Until next time, go live a life done free.
Thanks, Milo.